All right. Well, the Biden administration is facing plunging approval ratings, voters reacting negatively to both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's job performance.
Now, a new op-ed is arguing the Biden-Harris dream team is suddenly Democrats' worst nightmare after just 10 months. So what does this mean for Democrats going into the midterm elections?
Let's ask Ohio Senate candidate JD Vance. JD, good to see you. Welcome to Fox and Friends this morning.
Thanks for having us. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving.
You too. Yeah, we did. What do you make of this theory? They're looking at a nightmare in the midterms.
Well, I think it's good for my side. So glad to be a Republican running in 2022. And I basically think the argument of the op-ed is right. I mean, look, Biden and Harris are leaders of a party that has no unifying force, right? Joe Biden was basically the guy who swept the nomination when no one else seemed like they could take it. It's not like most Democrats were even that excited about him. And so you have a presidency that's been a disaster through 10 months. You have skyrocketing inflation, which has taken down a number of presidencies in a number of countries. And I think a lot of Democrats are, looking and they see a sinking ship and they're trying to find a life raft off. And that's not a good place to be in for their party. Good for us in the 22 midterms.
JD, it's been interesting to see how the media has now tossed Kamala aside, and they seem to be propping up Pete Buttigieg, which is odd to me because his performance in the supply crisis is embarrassing.
Yeah, it's a really interesting thing. Of course, Pete Buttigieg took 2 months of paternity leave where he said he didn't want anybody to know that he was taking paternity leave. And now all he wants to talk about is paternity leave after it was reported by the press. And, of course, we have a terrible inflation crisis, which is caused in part by the supply chain problems. I mean, if we made more things in the United States, if we had a more efficient way to get goods from one place to another, that's his job, and he's failing pretty miserably at that job. And yet he's being pitched as the great savior of the Democratic Party. I think what's really going on is that Democratic elites, I mean, the people who call the shots in the party, they're big donors, they recognize that the two people who are getting the most attention, Biden and Harris, have no chance. They have no leadership ability. They have no ability to unite the party. And so I think they're going to start picking other people. It might be Buttigieg this month. It might be somebody else next month. But these guys realize they're in a real leadership crisis. I mean, ask yourself this question: who can lead the Democratic Party in 2022 and 2024? Is it Sleepy Joe? Is it Kamala? Is it Pete Buttigieg? They don't have many good options.
No, it's true. And by their own definition, if they really are discarding Kamala Harris like this, it's actually pretty racist.
That is pretty racist.
Because by their own characterization, doing so.
But if you pick somebody who's gay, then maybe that erases it? Or
I don't understand the formula completely of the left.
Okay.
Real quick, though, JD, on the Republican side, who's the leader of the Republican Party? What are you hearing on the ground as you run your campaign?
Well, certainly it's Donald Trump, right? I mean, so obviously he's the president. Most of our voters are still passionate about his presidency, and I think rightfully so. He did a good job. But I also think he has at least one more shot left in him, whether he wants to run for president or not. The fact that he can still run for president, I think, makes him the leader of the party. At the very least, he'll be the kingmaker in 2022 and 2024. So it's actually a good place to be for our party because we don't have these constant, civil war and squabbles. We know who the leader of the party is. We just need to go execute on a vision that can get our voters excited about the future. There are a lot of opportunities to do that in 22. I think there will be more opportunities to do it in 24. So much rather be us than them at this point.
It's true.
Right. JD Vance, good to have you this morning on Fox and Friends. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, JD.
Thank you, guys.